Yeah, it's trying to hook together this crazy bunch into one coherent mass.
Yes. Let's see. What was the third magical character we have? I know what like 3 of the characters are right now. I don't know what the 4th is.
Well, Scrap, the trash golem, hasn't really made it clear whether it's magical or scientific, so...
We'll find out the mystery of the trash man, or maybe we'll just never know.
We'll die never knowing.
He's mysterious. He comes in to save us and then leaves again.
No, but looking at Scrap's character sheet, oh no. Oh no. This is going to take some revising, unfortunately.
Yeah. You've seen mine, and mine has changed very slightly, but only in terms of like tweaking things. I think the only thing I've done really important is like dropping telekinesis.
Okay.
And of course, like getting the mansion that I posted up, and is there anything else really important I did? Oh yeah, I guess like I have divine awareness as a sense.
Okay.
And yeah, other than that, just settled on my complications for now if they're gonna fit. At least I have like 4 ideas to pitch, and at least 2 of them gotta work.
Nice. Yeah. No, but looking at Scrap, he's got toughness 20. Oh.
Oh boy.
I mean, it's technically legal.
I will definitely say, being tougher seems like the cheaper and better option generally in Mutants and Mastermind.
That's true, but the thing is, once you have enough toughness, the GM will start to make things that target will, and if you have enough will, a lot of things that start targeting dodge.
I have a affliction that goes for dodge, so it's like, all right, you're a big tough guy. How about you just stay still forever?
I also
did
have
this
an
exact
affliction.
same thing in a another game, an X-Men game, but we ended up having to use it on the Juggernaut. And like, oh, this isn't tenable, is
it? No, yeah, we had who's this?
Howdy.
Testing 1, 2. We good?
Yeah, we're good.
All right.
Only one person left, looks like.
And yeah, ideally the GM like tries to keep things in balance relative to like what the players have to throw at them, but sometimes that's a big juggling act to keep track
of. Yeah. Generally, I like to keep it a trade-offs of 5 to the maximum, just so things don't get too crazy.
Yeah. I've got like all the trade-off stuff, so I could like swap anything for anything, but that's still only like 5 itself.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is just like aiming, and I have a close attack.
Yeah.
And after that, it's like, all right, I'm spending a hero. Because I think like after my experience, that's like the #1 most useful thing to be able to do. Just pop a hero point, get plus 20 on something, and just hit the goddamn guy for once.
Yeah. Especially things with a lot of dodge or parry, where you just can't hit them and you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Oh, terrible. Yeah. Which is why I do like this system compared to 5th edition, is because oftentimes in 5th edition, especially if you have a large party, it'll just come around to your turn, swing, don't make the AC, and they just do nothing for the rest of the turn.
Right, the fighter with the only one action they can do kind of conundrum.
Yeah.
Which was worse in older games, for sure.
Sounds like Warhammer this morning.
Oh, yeah, that for sure. I definitely think there it's because, like, they're better fighters, and they all had shields ready. This was definitely not something I wanted you guys to engage on, but you did at least choose to do so. So I mean, that got bathroom sounds. Oh no!
I think you're away from your mic. Is what I'm saying.
Oh right, let me just walk back from the bathroom real quick. There we go. No, like it was on my forehead. Whenever it's like that, it's like I have tilted it up 90 degrees.
I don't know why I thought the game started at 7. So
Because we're crazy.
yeah.
Ooh, we got everyone in the roll 20.
Yeah, everyone's in.
Let me save
guess
my
they
other
have-
game real quick before I lose something.
Oh, cool.
All right.
All right. So is everybody in?
Yep, I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what's on the agenda today is we're going to explain the setting. We're going to try and work out a way that these characters can come together, probably in the first session. Well, certainly in the first session, but depending on where we want to start in the first session, we'll find out. We're also going to look at the crunch of all your characters, make sure everything works out, make sure some characters aren't too similar, make sure they're all properly built, etc. Does that sound good?
Absolutely.
Okay. So before we launch into world building, etc., I'm just going to take a look at each of these characters. So first up, we have Scrap. Alrighty. So how did you decide the golem's going to work?
I dropped him as a sidekick because I mean that actually solves a lot of problems with the summon in the first place, so that's fine. So I just put him as a sidekick, and I said you can't go over the amount of points you have to begin with. So I just kind of put him to the points that I had for the summon by itself, and it's still working on it. Like stats wise, I'm still figuring out some small stuff. Just making sure I have it as, it actually works.
Yes.
Obviously, he's a construct, so he's probably going to have a few absent stuff just because, he can't think. Come on, be honest. He has, like, the mind of a washing machine. He's fine.
Yes. And now looking at stats and skills, I do notice that under your defenses,
Yes.
those are some big numbers. So
Like I said, I'm still working on stuff. So Sorry. It said the total can't be above double the power level. Was there something else I missed regarding that?
yes.
Okay.
Also, certain defenses are linked. So, for example, dodge and parry are linked with toughness. So, when you raise toughness past power level 10, there is a trade-off that goes with dodge and parry as well.
Oh, okay.
So, if you had toughness 20, that is 10 over. So, your dodge and parry would have to be 0.
Oh, I see how it works.
And
that's right. That's right. Now I'm seeing that. I just, like I said, I'm illiterate, so I have some trouble.
No, that's fine. Like, I definitely made mistakes like that for my first few games, but the same thing with fortitude and will. Those two are also there.
Okay, that frees up some stuff, so I can work with that.
Oh yeah. And what role did you see Scrap taking in this party?
Most of the powers that I gave Scrap ended up just making him. It's all fucking gloves. I'm not gonna lie. Like he has very little aside from this. He has some skills and stuff, but all like the big shit comes from just the gloves. I call them the strange gauntlets for now.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's got enhanced strength, enhanced stamina, protection, immunity to electricity. He's just a big, I guess he's very small. He's a small tough guy.
All right.
With a big tough friend.
All right, and I'm guessing that this would be more of a bruiser in terms of your power set.
Oh yeah,
like,
for sure.
You get in and tear him up.
I'm going to punch someone through a wall.
That can be arranged.
And then pick up the wall and throw it after them.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean that's certainly something we can work with.
Mm-hmm. So I think the main thing is just you need to get all the
things.
Get all the defenses back in order, and then I think that will be good. Oh, and one more thing.
Yeah.
Were you thinking of making this golem technological or magical in nature, or something in between?
It'd be technological.
Okay.
I don't know how it works, but it's not magic. Like,
all right.
These gloves got all kinds of whirring lights and shit. So.
Okay. And would you be open to having some sort of backstory with the gauntlets that might come up later in the story?
If you want me to write things, that's all you have to say. I'll write the hell out of it.
Well, not necessarily. Considering that Scrap found the gauntlets, you don't necessarily have to come up with the story. But if you'd like to, then that's perfectly possible.
You gave me a small excuse. That's all I need.
All right, just make sure you run it by me first before throw it in there.
I got you, boss.
All right. So on to the next boy, Arsenal. So this is the replacement for your Gravity Man, correct?
Yeah, I couldn't get graphics to fit in my head with the stats, so I just decided to go ahead and do a Iron Man themed thing. Not as good, not as big, not as cool, not as rich. But, you know, he's rich, but not that rich.
Yeah. All right, so let's take a look here. Flight, nice, of course, always good. Sensors, okay. Let me see here.
The sheet on there isn't 100%. I'm still toying with it.
All right.
But it's a general idea of where I'm going.
Okay. So I think this is all right.
The weapons are all in array.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. So looking at these, I see you have a lot of versatile attack options as well as some utility in your sensors. That's very good. Also,
basically, he's range tech guy. I'm going a little general in the beginning on the premise of he's just kind of starting out. He stole a lot of this, tinkered some of it, and he's going to grow into it and become more powerful.
Okay. So, and likewise, if you stole it, there would also probably be something that would come up regarding that either earlier or later in the story.
Yeah, that's kind of the backstory is like I wrote up in my application. I'm going to keep the general idea of graphics in the background of he was working for some organization, maybe disassembling a alien tech and try and repurpose it or something like that. Thought it was for general good use, found out that it was planned for nefarious reasons, so he stole what he was working on. They've been chasing him for a while, but he's like, okay, I got to do something to protect myself. Well, maybe if I make myself a public figure, they'll have to be a little more circumspect. So he never really wanted to be a hero, but he's like, well, if I can do this, I can get out there, make myself a public figure, do some, put this to use, and hopefully get them to try and not drop a nuclear bomb on me or something.
All right, that seems fair.
And I'm perfectly willing for you to decide exactly how much I know about this organization. If I know exactly who it is, or if I don't know at all, if I thought it was a government and it turns out to be something else, I'm open all whatsoever.
Yeah. And looking at the minion is an AI, correct?
Correct.
So with that minion doesn't have a physical body, correct? Is it just connected to the suit? Okay.
It's strictly the only. Let's see here. I've got stats written down for him. I haven't put them up in the thing yet. I pull up the freaking file. But anyways, yeah, it's just like he's got just mental stats.
Okay. And were you picturing this minion being more just like a utility AI or more of a person?
Not sure what you mean by that. You mean is it
is this something that'll just like help you run your suit, do diagnostics, make scans?
This is my Jarvis.
All right. Okay.
He will have a personality.
Okay, good. So we have some banter. And
yes.
All right, so that seems very solid, especially in the backstory department.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see a use in the crunch with a ranged damage dealer, but you seem to have the opposite problem of Scrap, where Scrap had extremely large and powerful defenses. Ooh.
Well, I hadn't spent all my point. Even with what I have on my sheet, which has more stuff, I'd still was like 30 points short, so I got more points to spend.
Okay, yeah.
And that's even before you mentioned me being able to dump most of the expertises to grab even more points.
Yeah. So just make sure that you can pump up those defenses. But I think your backstory and your basis of the powers actually work quite well.
Yeah. Just the one thing I'm fortitude. That's basically like that's only like saving throws against like poisons and like old Constitution stuff, right?
Yeah, generally.
Okay, so I'm trying to figure out what makes sense to put in the suit, because most of this is the suit and not the person.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I don't see fortitude making sense to add up for the suit, but I can see putting some parry in there and up in the dodge even more.
Yeah.
The AI is going, hey, get your hand over here and block this sort of thing.
Yeah, all right, that makes sense. Okay, so yeah, if you keep working on that, I think that will be quite all right.
Okay.
So now, Griffin.
Hey, back just in time.
Yes.
Let me go ahead and throw you the latest version just so you can look at it.
All right, let me take a look at this.
So I'm
Yes.
still in the middle of just transcribing it over.
Yes, because I am fairly certain that the next two are celestial beings of some description.
Oh, indeed, indeed.
Mm-hmm.
I am shooting for basically a sort of fiery, phoenixy type themed character, which looking at my mythology, I'm planning on putting him as being, say, the demigod son of Bennu, which is probably the origin of the Phoenix myth. And looking at that character is a part of the personality aspect of Ra or Atom himself, which is, of course, one of the 3 different creator guards in Egyptian mythology.
Okay.
So
All
it
right.
puts him pretty high up, but as I put my complications, he's basically nothing unless he does something.
What do you mean by that?
By the way, Egyptian mythology works. You are either a god or you are nothing. You are either the king or you are not important or worth remembering. I mean, if you're a lesser god or something, maybe you'll get put on the hierarchy, or you'll get called a demon or something, and you're just down there and you have like a power. So as one of this character's complications, I planned that one of them is recognition from the Egyptian pantheon. Eyes are on him because he is so high up, and he is not very important.
All right, that could be interesting.
So that could be fun, him trying to manage that and his far more pertinent worldly interests, which do not work towards that goal whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. And considering the fact that you have godly power, probably the most and the reason why you would surface now, I would guess due to lack of worship, Egyptian gods would be weak sauce right now.
Oh, definitely. What I had in my mind is that being a demigod and thus part mortal, he doesn't necessarily need any worship at all. And one of his complications is, of course, that he's a part of the Egyptian gods who protect the natural order, so he has to fight chaos, but it hasn't been around at all forever. So now he's a fat, lazy layabout who just does not have anything going for him other than like a lot of money and the ability to conjure more.
Okay. So
I figured that would be a way of easing him in without making him too questionable where he's been the last 1,000 years.
Okay. So you see him as just kind of being in the background this whole time, just kind of getting by.
Right.
Okay.
He's clearly independently wealthy, as I've put down as like a bonus, because he can basically create anything he wants, as such is his divine nature.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not really interested in being famous or rich or anything.
Okay.
He's just there waiting for someone to give him orders, and then someone will pop up eventually.
All right. So his motivations are somewhat dictated by the pantheon, then.
Yes. Out of 2 of 4 complications, 2 of them are, of course, dealing with Pantheon. He has responsibilities towards them, as he has to go and fight on their behalf and fight chaos and put it down, which easily puts him as a hero. He's looking for the recognition, but then he has his mortal concerns, which, of course, he is obsessed with having more relationships. He is out every night looking to get lucky.
Oh, Jesus.
Vague interest in his directions is enough to distract a god who is the very essence of life itself. And additionally, a complication of former companions.
Oh,
Perhaps necessarily plenty of people that could be kidnapped. You could pick someone randomly off the street, and you found someone.
oh, jeez.
And of course, perhaps being this immortal who has lived a long time and is obsessed with interacting with people, probably all the dead ones are maybe weighing on him a little bit too.
Oof.
So how many
Yeah,
kids does he
very
have out
oof.
there?
How many children?
How many days has it been since like 1024 AD?
Dear God.
No, that's
What?
someone else.
Well, I would definitely recommend keeping that or keeping those complications because those would make for amazing plot hooks.
Oh, absolutely. I love all of them, and if they all work, I'd love to have all of them.
All right. Like, I'm not placing an upper limit on the amount of complications you can have.
Oh, of course. But 2 is the recommended minimum, and I want to at least meet that, and it looks like I have, so I feel good.
All right. So, looking at the crunch of this very interesting character.
Ah, yes, the crunch side.
All right. So, resurrection. Okay.
Yep, I cheapened it down to a day, and while he's in a resurrectable form waiting to come back, he will be in an easily kidnappable egg.
Kidnappable.
And of course, if you just put him on ice, he's just not going to come back. I
Nice.
figured that would make it a very interesting set of complications.
So, question: when you do hatch, do you hatch in a big explosion of fire so we could kill you and basically use you as a bomb?
I've considered that greatly, and let me tell you, being on fire and causing explosions is expensive. I would want it, especially if I were doing a faster regeneration, but sadly I can't.
All
Maybe I'll
right.
add feature theatrics.
All right. So, got a bunch of immunities. All right.
Yep, nothing too strange. Immunity fire, immunity heat, immunity cold. I can make others immune to cold because I am a god of fire.
Okay.
And of course, just age because, well, I'm a demigod.
Yeah. Okay. Just is this an array that's just called fire?
Yes, the entire array is fire, and it is all activatable as a move action.
Okay. So let me take
the easiest way to handle it.
Okay. Oh, contagious. That
Yes.
makes sense, actually.
Light someone on fire, and someone else gets lit on fire.
All right. Afflictions. Okay.
Yep.
I'm looking at Falcon Punch. Holy moly.
16 ranks of damage.
You can only hit defenseless people.
I can aim. It could be basically this is my answer to what if I had to face a bruiser? What would I do? The answer is this.
Jeez. All right.
And ricochet just for an extra fun little trick.
What?
Sure, bounce the ensuing fireball coming out of my fist against the wall and around a corner. I had a single extra point to throw in, and I'm just like, you know what? More reach doesn't sound quite as fun.
Yeah. All right. And holy moly, the size of that cone attack. Okay. So that's a lot of damage.
It is contagious and secondary effect. The area will attack again. But it is distracting and unreliable. I will not be able to use it much if I choose to even use it.
All right, so looking at this currently, it looks like this is a bit of a glass cannon.
Currently, I'd say quite so. There are not a whole lot of defenses focused on him. I talked with you about the dynamic variable defensive array. But if you'll take a look at magic, that is also activatable on a move. And of course, if he's using something like hypnotizing someone, creating something, or using his Cloak of Glamour spell to disguise himself as some form, he does not have any defenses.
Oh dear. All right, so that is quite interesting. I can see that character very much having a large part to play in any side quests you may have.
Oh, absolutely. This is the side quest master. He's highly sociable, highly persuasive, and has just a lot of fun stuff to do that doesn't involve fighting.
Nice. I like
That's
that.
basically what the 22 points of advantages are for here.
All the advantages.
The only big questionable thing I would have would be, for the base, communications with, quote, Egyptian mythology. I wasn't sure quite how to put this, but I figured, well, if other gods have some sort of base, and he has to talk with them to get orders, he has to have some way to talk to them.
Yeah, it would probably be some sort of shrine or something like that, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Banshine.
Right. Now that, I don't think anything else is, very weird or suspect. I gave him a cell phone with literally all the works, and I think every character should make sure they have it. It's literally 1 point to get 5 points of equipment, and 4 of those can go to a cell phone that has a computer, that is a camera, and has GPS. And then get yourself some restraints as well.
It always needs some restraints.
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
By the way, for Arsenal, I didn't have everything on the on page sheet. I did have take the idea and built him a base as well. So it's going to be interesting. We have 2 bases to work out of, one magical, one technological.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
mine is very more of a personal house than anything, and will need definitely extra improvement to say become tougher or have uses beyond just being the place I go.
It's kind of the same with mine, except mine is secret. You know,
Oh yes,
'cause I am
yes.
hiding, but it's
And I'm
basically
just like,
a
I just
warehouse
own
kind
like
of
an
thing.
upper penthouse or something.
All right. So finally, we are on to Hitori.
Yeah, following up on Griff, I feel like the high school band following up Black Sabbath on tour. The vague character idea I have, built by a person who's barely learned the rules so far, i.e.,
Oh,
an
it's
idiot.
fine. These rules are hard. Yes.
Deception,
Here, I have this real quick question.
Hmm.
If I take protection, that still can't go over the toughness limit, right?
Yes, that cannot go for
Correct.
toughness.
Perfect. Thank you.
So, wait, I forget. Do you you have a text document, correct? For Hitori?
I do not. I've been speaking out loud most of my thoughts and ideas, so...
All right. Well then, explain him to us.
Hitori is a consciousness given form from, I don't know, some like 40 million years after the start of the universe. He's considered himself a god in that, I think therefore I am. He was stronger back in the old days as biological life, whatever consciousness gives to worship, and worship gives to strength. But as less people knew about him, the weaker he got, and the more he forgot. That's why one of his complications is amnesia. He doesn't know what he doesn't know anymore.
Mm-hmm.
This is why he's gone from being a god to basically just thought in form. He wanders the universe, which is why I assume he would wander into the location and setting and see it as a viable way to begin again.
Okay. And so would he or it know that it needed to gather more followers, or would that not really cross his mind?
Well, as a motivation, that's why I put it down in motivations. Worship is that he would know, or I'm using the word he because I am a he, but it's an it.
Yeah.
It's a sexless, genderless it. Would know that it needs strength in order to become what it was once again.
Okay. And can this thing assume a different form, or is it always this nebulous?
Well, I put it down as innate in its.
Okay.
That's its default.
Okay,
Right, but
so
unless it's permanent, you wouldn't be able to turn it off. Otherwise, you can just turn it on and off, and there's some form that might end up being substantial.
Right. Well, I mean, its natural form is insubstantial. I mean, I
Like,
guess
Okay.
nothing
in
can
that.
stop you from being that.
Right. So I
Okay.
have the ability, I guess, to then transform back up the scales because it's a rank 4 incorporeal insubstantial being.
Mm-hmm. So that would be that'd be completely insubstantial. But is it invisible as well, or can it be seen? Like, what would this thing look like?
I imagined it would be able to be seen.
Well, yeah.
It's a formless mass, basically. That's why I threw that picture up there on the map, because I assume it looks like the material that's around it, in that it's only conscious thought itself, so the only way to imagine it is what you see around it. So in that, you give it form in your own sight.
I'm sort of imagining like the main character god from Black and White at this point. A floating symbol of some kind until given form.
Well, I was kind of thinking, have you ever watched Babylon 5?
Unfortunately not, but
Okay.
go ahead.
Well, in that there's a race called the Vorlons, right? And the Vorlons are always wearing these giant suits because inside their suits they're basically energy beings. And this one time, this Vorlon gets out of its suit and flies up into the sky to distract everybody, and everybody sees it as an angel of their own religion. Even the aliens see it as an angel of their own type. But in my way, I'm thinking more of like you see it as whatever you want to see it as, but it's comprised of the area around it. Like in the picture there, it's obviously a creature that's in space at the time, so it looks like space around it, but given to an anthro form.
So maybe there's some sort of morpho illusion power related to it that lets it take on forms.
Well, again, it's not that it itself is changing, it's just however you perceive it, however you want to see it is how you see it.
So maybe that could be more of a complication?
Yeah,
Something to think about.
Yeah, because if you were dealing with other with like regular people, say on the street, that would be very difficult to interact with.
No, I understand that. That's why I have it as no different identity. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
If that's a complication, that's fine.
Yeah, that probably would be a complication. And if you find that too debilitating, maybe later on throughout the as the story progresses, it could start to learn more about how life is on Earth. As it's adding to its knowledge, it could assume a different form, perhaps, to better interact with people.
Right.
But that's definitely up to you. It's just a suggestion if you're having trouble with
That's right.
role playing or anything.
I made a quick note.
All right. Okay. And in terms of abilities this thing might have, what were you thinking of?
Well, like I said, at the start, really only what its form allows it to have. The only thing I wanted it to hold on to was healing, as that seems to be the, I guess, in a universal sense, the ability to heal and bring those back from the dead would be more of a respected, godly sense.
Yes.
So, as for one that would be seeking worship, that would be the last thing it would let go of, so it would still have that ability to heal and bring back from the dead. That's why I still left in the power section heal with the extra of resurrection.
Okay. And so you also have all the advantages given to you by being insubstantial. I also note that you do have impervious toughness. I think that may be somewhat redundant if you have if you're insubstantial, but if you're fighting any other insubstantial beings, I can see that coming in handy.
Well, there is the school of thought of many religions that the first beings in the universe were all, self-made from their own consciousness, so it could be that it's a holdover from way back when all of my compatriots from the day would have been like me. Because there's more than one religion that has that sort of thing.
Yes.
I mean, my school of thought comes specifically from Japanese Buddhism, so...
Yeah.
which had more than one. It has 3, and then they give birth to many more that have male and female versions. That's why I put myself amongst the original 3 that had no sex.
Mm. Okay. Okay. Immunities. Okay. All right.
I went with the ones that make sense, Life support,
Mhm.
I don't have to breathe, and all those other things that you pesky humans have to do. And, of course, I don't age because I'm almost as old as the universe. I know it says age 13, but I didn't want to put a billion's worth of zeros behind that.
Yeah.
And fatigue
Like,
effects, I
enough.
don't want to get tired.
All right. And how would this thing communicate with the rest of the party?
Is that, I assume
Well-
vocalization, but again, I guess being insubstantial, does that affect my ability just to vocalize?
It technically wouldn't, but considering this, like how this character's shaping up to be as kind of this unknowable entity, it would seem kind of weird for it to just like, oh, hey, Bill.
I
Atom.
mean, the God of the Bible talks. The God of
That-
every Bible talks.
That is true.
I
Maybe
mean,
we should
if
get some sort of
anything,
global level communication, telepathic, irresistible to all people, selective.
If anything,
That's
the
kinda-
unknowable force of my nature would be that I wouldn't be able to control the pitch of my voice. Steve, what are you doing? Ah, my ears, they're bleeding.
I mean, that's fair.
Will you please stop typing in all caps?
What are you talking about?
Indoor
Hold on.
voice.
I have something exactly for this thing. Give me 3 seconds. This is it.
What is this?
Ignore
Oh,
me!
this guy, ignore me.
Ignore me.
But like I said, I am a character made by an idiot, so I still don't know, maybe crunch-wise, exactly what I'm going for, but you can see where the thoughts are.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, I think with a bit of modifications on some of the characters' crunch, we do have a serviceable party.
Yeah.
So, now we come to a Zoarl, So, I forget what the year is. The year is 20XX.
Oh, Mega Man should be around.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
Also
Earth's kind of
Cyberpunk.
Doesn't that technically make it next year? Because that'd be 2020. I'm joking. I'm sorry.
Oh boy.
Here we go. No, it's so it is somewhat cyberpunk based, but not completely. There are some other elements that are going to be woven into this story. I also recently just got off playing the Stalker franchise, so there are going to be some somewhat unknowable elements outside the cities. It's going to pretty much be cyberpunk inside, but a whole bunch of stuff on the outside of these giant megacities.
All right.
But concerning that, would you prefer it to be set all around in one location and somewhat localized, or have more of a globe trotting feel to this?
Now, there's always an interesting question.
Mhm.
So character speed is really important when it comes to the party globetrot thing. I can personally move as fast as a jetliner can. So I already have the ability to like transit to anywhere I could want. I'm not sure if like the trash man has like a rocket engine or something strapped to him for that.
No, I walk between however fast like a middle schooler would be able to run and however fast a large thing of junk
Right,
would
exactly.
lumber.
So we're like looking at booking the trash man a commercial jetliner to
Man.
get to his
Well,
location.
no. You have you have a rich inventor. You have a rich inventor in the group, and another guy who's rich. Give us a few sessions. We'll build us a team jet.
Right, exactly. So that was the way the previous group solved it, but there was still, of course, like a lightning-based character who could transit the entire globe in about an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, when it comes to, say, small-scale combat interactions, like I can move a mile in a move action.
Yeah.
That is not mappable. So I
No.
basically have free movement on any map that you choose. That's not utterly ridiculous.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Those are things to consider. How does the incorporeal being that is Theta's
Fly.
character get around?
I
How
fly.
fast?
1. Whatever 1 is.
Ah!
But the thing
Walking
is that,
speed is
again,
0.
since I have life support, I can hold my breath indefinitely, so if you guys need to fly to the other side of the world, I'll just pass right through it.
I guess you could walk straight through the planet and get there eventually.
Yeah,
but
like I said, I
mean,
can just direct line it, but I can only
Alright.
direct line it basically at the speed of a little faster than run, I guess.
you still might want to pull out your cell phone GPS for a little bit for that one. Oh, that's another fun aspect. You can be a super fast character. That doesn't help you from getting lost.
Yep.
Well, again, I've been wandering
Unless you
the
literally
universe, so...
Superman it or something. Like, you go to space, look down to the world, and go, oh, I needed to go there.
As I've been wandering the universe, like, well, there's a planet. Seems to have life on it, and I go there.
Right.
There's a planet seems to have life on it.
And
Moves
what about
very
our
slow.
Iron Man-esque character? How fast are you planning to move?
Right now I got a flight speed of 6, which I think is 120 miles an hour.
Right, you're going car chase speed here, basically.
Yeah. Well,
So
again,
you're definitely very local, or at least more local than I am, and that puts me as the fastest.
at
so-
the beginning, yes, but like I said, I'm kind of generalizing to start out with
Mhm.
to represent his beginnings.
Yeah. So, at least it would seem to me, in my opinion, basing it more locally would put less pressure on people to say, like, get that jet or get globe-trotting movement powers or something. We could always get something like a base teleporter or something and put us wherever we want on the
I
globe
mean,
or
I also
something.
made
but
my
it's
flight
also
subtle because I
inexpensive.
didn't want to rocket speed everybody around.
Yeah, exactly.
When I fly around as my base mode of travel, I didn't want to, everybody's
Mhm.
skirts get blown up. Wait,
Right.
never mind, that sounds amazing.
So, not that we couldn't go there, but it is definitely easier for us to do so than to pack ourselves up to a plane and leave.
Yeah, and we could always start local and then, uncover some
Expand.
some global organization that we have to go around and do stuff against.
Right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that works too.
Okay.
And in terms of other games, the world coming to us is always a thing that happens.
Mm-hmm.
This is harder in some games than others.
Mm-hmm. So, the main place where you're going to start in that case is going to be in one of the mega cities. So let me just pull these up and see where you could start. All right.
Oh boy.
Okay. So, the main megacities run from 1 to 6. Megacity 1 is in like East Asia.
Mhm.
So it covers a lot of the area around the Chinese coast, Korea, and parts of Japan.
So you keep saying Megacity, I think Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
In Megacity 1 from New York to Georgia? Isn't that right?
Yeah, I believe so. But Megacity 2 is around India and the Middle East. Megacity 3 is in Africa, like Central Africa. 4 is in Europe, around where France and Germany are. 5 is in South America, and 6 is on the west coast of the United States.
I'd probably
And-
go. I'd vote for 4 or 6.
6 is always probably the easier one to put in, but which one was 4?
Europe.
European.
European? Yeah, of course. Puts us a little closer to Egypt too, which means I technically have wandered less far.
I mean, playing as an
Mhm.
alien.
I have planned this out with a lot of New York settings,
I have
so
no real care.
Mm. So are you good with Megacity 4?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
yeah, I think so.
Okay. Let me write that down real quick. Make sure I don't forget that.
I'm probably originally from 6, and then when I made my run for it, I ended up over there.
All
You
right.
youngins, I remember a time there weren't mega cities, but there were just cities. At all.
I remember times you had mega villages.
Then
We
they
thought
renamed
we
them
were
as
real
cities.
important back then, but you'll learn. Wait another 1,000 years.
You just wait till I get my memory back to have these arguments with you.
All right. So we have the localization. We have the megacity. Now, I'm going to explain a little bit about what this world is like. So, obviously, since it is somewhat cyberpunk based, things are pretty crappy all around. Lots of people have congregated in the megacities to escape poverty on the outside, only to encounter poverty on the inside. Megacorporations vie with governments to see who can control people the most, while doing quite a poor job. And the oceans have risen, causing most coastal cities to be encircled by massive seawalls.
No, the pyramids, they flooded at last.
I don't know if we would have gotten that high. I think at least the tops of the pyramids could still be safe.
Oh, that'll be exciting,
Now,
though.
would an Egyptian god even care about the pyramids?
I mean, it's... They're...
they
no,
weren't
probably
built
not.
for you.
This is very true.
Yeah. All right. So everything's generally crap. The people that were kind of around, which would kind of be, I guess, everybody but Kotori, really, knows that the rule of law has generally passed from governments and corporations to smaller groups. So you have the megacity, but it's often broken down into a lot of various smaller factions that are vying for control.
Right.
So for example, you might have city center that's controlled by an actual, maybe by the German government, whereas you have all these districts all around that are controlled by different companies. Like you might have the Nestle water corner, where they just own everything, things like that.
Disneyland.
Disney. Yes.
Happiness is mandatory.
Mandatory fun. You just have costumed guys patrolling the streets. No. Well, I don't know. Mega City 6, that might be happening.
It's okay, because all of the police dogs are named Pluto, and it's funny that way.
It's better that way, guys. All right. And in terms of technology, flying cars exist because, of course, they have to. Often the aesthetic of the cities are these very big new skyscrapers kind of built on the bones of older structures. So up on top, it's all shiny glass and steel. Once you get down below, it's like crumbling concrete and stone and kind of urban decay. And generally, the lower you go, the worse things get. And there's even been reports of strange creatures dwelling in the lowest parts of the cities.
Coruscant.
Yes.
Like mutant kind of strange, or
Some describe them as mutants.
okay.
But, yeah. Also, I don't know whether to say this now or save it for a quest later. I'm going to save it for a quest later.
Alright.
Yes, also, around 15 years before this took place, they did manage to create self-aware AI, but as soon as it was created, they decided, no, we can't do this, shut it down. Unfortunately, the AI did fight back and was able to launch a couple of nuclear warheads at various points across the Earth. Strangely enough, though, it wasn't at any of the megacities. So you do have these strange irradiated pockets outside of these cities, but no one really knows what's out there because the radiation is too high for most normal people to go.
I mean, they said they created AI, not good AI.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's mine.
Or they were good AI and they nuked something that we didn't know about.
Mm.
You ask too many questions.
Nobody knows. They didn't hit the megacities, though.
Gods don't ask questions. They make blatant statements.
Mm. Also, well, in terms of AI as well, true artificial intelligence has not been recreated because they don't want to make an AI that actually nukes people.
Wait, don't one of you have an artificial intelligence?
There's a
Well-
reason why he doesn't have nuclear warheads in his suit.
But it doesn't have remote control capability of my suit.
Yeah.
Yet.
Yes. But
Basically, the AI is... The way I built him, he is my research guy. Really.
mhm. Yeah. So he's like your assistant who helps with things of a more cerebral nature.
Yeah, but in a sense, he also runs part of the suit, which explains a lot of my advanced targeting, dodge, and all that sort of stuff. He's more
Waste
aware of
management.
everything and helps me react to stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So let me just get an image up here because they do have robots out in the streets, but nothing like any sort of android you might encounter. Like you're not going to have Blade Runner where you can't pick out a robot from a human. It's going to be fairly easy when you see a robot because most of them look something like this. Let me just. It's going to be in the chat over there. Most of them look a little bit something like that.
Cute,
very
boxy, easily identifiable.
Mm-hmm. You're not going to have to.
Tachikomas.
Yeah, you're not going to have to worry about robots infiltrating your organization.
Ah, yes, the third sex of human.
The Gonk droid.
The Gonk.
Gong is valid.
Mm-hmm. And also,
Well, actually, should we say, this is what we know of in terms of what is robotically capable, not necessarily what is robotically capable, right?
yes, this is not this like everything that I'm telling you is common knowledge.
Yeah.
There's consumer level robotics here.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, like that's the kind of robot that would serve you your burger at a restaurant.
All right.
Not with those hands.
Don't bully him. All right. So you have the exclusion zones outside of the megacities. You have law and order breaking down within. There are also strange powers that seem to be cropping up every once in a while. Things like people suddenly levitating off into the sky, never to return. People bursting into flames and running down the street. People can't really seem to explain it. But
One of
some
those
people
was-
are using.
Whistling innocently to that bursting to fire part.
Wait, what?
No, don't look at me. I'm
Say,
fine.
one of those was an ancient Egyptian demigod, and the other one is a guy known as Gravix who disappeared one day.
Oh, not necessarily, but there are strange things happening more recently now than before.
So, in other words, superheroes aren't exactly a thing right now.
They aren't a thing right now, but like you guys are going to be the vanguard superheroes pretty much.
All right. It makes my origin a little bit harder, but I'll make it work.
Like
Alright.
like they're okay. So pretty much you would have like there were exceptional individuals dating back to like ancient times, but
Yeah.
they are extremely rare.
Yeah.
So like Pardon?
Original heroes.
I think that was you were hearing your own echo. You echoed there for a second. I think that's what you heard.
Okay. So yeah, there probably be maybe 3 or 4 established superheroes at this time when you guys are coming together,
Okay.
but not too much is known about them. Oftentimes they work in their own little cliques or for governments or organizations.
All right.
Okay. And in terms of like the actual flavoring of the people, the actual flavoring of how the game's going to be. It's going to be probably a bit more grounded than a normal Mutant Masterminds game, but there is going to be some wacky stuff that happens. I really like having something be fairly serious at one point and then making a stupid joke in game 5 minutes later.
You and I are best friends now. Congratulations. This is my pure existence.
Having the occasional wacky in series just makes the wackiness all the more fun, because then you completely WTF and then trying to deal with it in character.
Yes indeed. And I believe the final thing, this is something that people would know about after coming to Mega City 4. There's currently a struggle from a bunch of inter-district groups. You have the Ordrists, which are a group of people who worship things like divine symmetry, like obsessive timekeeping, record keeping, and cleanliness. And they have this almost like pseudo-religious outlook on keeping everything in order. And
hey, what do you know?
Yes. But then you also have a group that calls themselves the Children of Liberty, which most of the governments and megacorporations frown upon greatly because they want to reduce the amounts of regulations and rules that have been imposed upon them, and they are in direct conflict with the Ordrists.
Had a question. Especially since we're doing with the Mega City thing, how are we doing with languages wise?
So languages often in Mega City 4, since there's so many different dialects and languages in close proximity to each other, it's likely that each different geographical location inside the Mega City would have the original dialect of their home nation. But oftentimes you'd have people who could speak maybe like 5 or 6 different languages, so you can communicate across different parts of the city.
All right.
Man, I want to be one of those people, but that's points.
It's not that many.
My AI does it for me.
I'm already 4 points over, I just discovered, so I'm going to have to pull back on something. Eek.
And also, did you guys want to state any nationalities for your characters? Well, I know you're Egyptian, but...
Yeah, mine's obvious.
Nationality is the universe.
Oh.
I guess, born and raised Mega City, so just whatever was there.
Yeah, you were just born in like an alley.
I was born in somewhat of a hospital. Like, let's not get crazy here.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Third house down the street, under the cupboard.
Under the cupboard.
My character is former what used to be Silicon Valley.
All right.
Yeah, Silicon Valley District. There we go.
Well, I mean, if Mega City, 6 is on the West Coast, then Silicon Valley would be there.
Yeah, exactly. He's from the Silicon Valley District of Mega City 6.
So you would actually speak American, because American is now an actual language.
Oh, jeez.
So if you were to talk to somebody from British stock living in Mega City 4, you'd have a very hard time translating.
That's what my AI is for.
Nice. All right.
My AI has 2 powers: 8 points in languages, and the immunity for resistance for fortitude and mental powers.
Nice. Jeez. All right. So, does anyone have any additional questions about the setting or how this campaign is going to be playing out?
Nope.
So far, I like what I'm seeing, and I think it's pretty easy to fit the characters we have in right now to it. One has a job, one's a robot, one could literally come in from anywhere, and I've just been hiding around because I'm not needed. Nobody questions, having some money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is good. We all have, places in society.
Well,
sort of.
Almost.
One has yet to rediscover what a society is.
Yes.
Just gotta remember.
Just gotta remember the society. All right, so let me think. Okay, so for the inciting incident, would you guys prefer for me to launch you all together? Like for example, you have to step up in some sort of incident and you just all happen to be there, or would you like it to be a bit more involved, take a bit more time?
I do love development, though I do understand the difficulty sometimes of like, oh well, this one fell flat, so he didn't get there in time, and now he's still not part of the group, or feels like they have like an identity with him or something.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I do like developing characters, and giving everyone their reason definitely is fun.
I'm flexible, whatever people want to do.
Okay. And finally, would you guys be open to working with an organization, or would you want to chart your own course, so to speak, as a group?
Now, does this organization provide, I don't know, meals or
Most
good betting? Because if so, yeah, sure.
I don't think I have a problem with that, as long as far as my character seems concerned, given complications, as long as they are like for the natural order and against chaos, yeah, sure, thumbs up.
I could see my character being recruited into one, a session or two in. I wouldn't want to start out as part of an organization.
Yeah, like that can be arranged.
Yeah, end of session is like, we'd like to talk to you about the Avenger Initiative.
Because again, my character's looking for keep himself safe. So okay, hey, look, here's a whole group that even less likely for them to drop a nuke on me. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so if that is the case, I believe that's everything for this evening, unless because some of the characters aren't finished. So that will be that will be everything for this evening. But I will likely be contacting each of you individually to discuss like where your character will be at the beginning and what motivations they could have for this first session.
Sounds good.
All right. Sounds good to me.
Alright.
I will keep updating my character and make it totally where it needs to be within point.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, one character sheet thing, especially when we got crazy things like arrays and all of my and the fact that pretty much half of my points are invested in a removable object. Are you going to worry about point totals on the sheet as long as like I can show you a text file saying here's all my math?
Yeah,
Well,
I've been tweaking mine to make sure that it looks right. It actually counts powers now, so that's great.
Nice.
Or you had to like punch them in.
One thing that I found that was really helpful for making some of my characters was the demo version of a program called Hero Lab.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so with the demo version you can't save it, but you can easily transcribe because it does all the work for you.
Okay.
It was very useful for like helping me figure out the game.
Isn't that what we used for Shadowrun back in the day, Griff?
I think some people use that, but I was using Chummer.
No, that's right.
Which is a program specific for it.
Because I came across Hero Lab earlier too, and I thought it was the same program.
Mm-hmm.
I was just saying because I figured out how I could get the math working right so I would actually show the correct totals on the sheet on Roll20. Basically, put all my powers individually with all my ranks, and then put them at 0 points per rank, and then have a thing at the bottom says here's my summary, and then put my points on that.
There's a description field on the Roll20 sheet though. You can just put all that math into too.
Yeah, but it does, especially when you get to when you have where everything is from one big removable. You add all your points together, and then you apply the subtraction. So,
right,
it doesn't. It's hard to show it. It's hard to show it on the individual powers that way.
Is it? Okay, I don't know. I have no idea. I've got like paragraphs in my powers area, so I don't know.
Yeah.
So here's a general question: who's actually good at investigating and actually seeing things with perception?
Yo. I mean, I was an orphan before I got the gauntlet, so I have all of that shit.
All right, so there's at least 2 of them. So I will probably feel.
You're probably still an orphan.
As of right now,
well,
I don't know how that
changes. I have a friend and I can beat the shit out of anybody who tries to just say otherwise.
Being an orphan and being friendless are two different things.
This giant pile
Well, I
of
guess
trash
he's
is my
first up on the
family.
punch list then. Alright, here we go.
Then I feel pretty justified taking away perception, just saying that I just don't even pay attention to stuff around me. I got my awareness, and that's all that matters.
I've got decent perception for my base character, but my AI has 10 points in investigation,
Mhm.
plus in 10 points in perception, and 10 points in technology. You know,
My
like I
skill
said,
list right now is deception, insight, persuasion, and close combat. And of course, I just said I was taking away perception.
I am skillless until I remember them.
I got 31 for myself. I have actually that's going to change because I the discussion with the expertise, but I got a little bit of athletics, a little bit close combat, a little bit deception. Technology is my main one at 10, but I got perception and persuasion of 6. So
I figure I'll just do the experience version thing. You know, invest in things that we use. That way, it comes across as I'm better at this now because I've experienced this. I remember it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Also, in terms of the pantheon, you talked about the Egyptian pantheon, but I'm just going to let you know, if there's an Egyptian pantheon, you better bet there are going to be some other wacky pantheons crammed in there as well.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. Wacky pantheon interactions.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone debating like, no, ours created the universe and
an
created
America God
humans.
situation.
Oh gosh.
America God.
And so the party went to fight Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, and Teddy Roosevelt and Woodrow Wilson all at once.
Well, I mean,
I think you said American gods, right?
Yeah. But I mean, it has things kind of like that, but not really. I'm not talking like the new gods. I'm talking like the myths, the mythos type characters.
Mm.
Like, yeah, so there's like a Johnny Appleseed in there or something.
Yeah, that like people like that exist in American gods.
Yeah. Not just fighting a Mount Rushmore.
all right, so I've downloaded this
oh
Spirit
god,
Lab.
I mean, in this setting, Chuck Norris could be one of them. Jesus, oh no.
You can't.
What have we done?
No, like Chuck Norris would appear if I wanted a party wipe.
So I downloaded the Hero Lab thing, but I don't see where I could for Mutants and Masterminds.
Should be Mutants and Masterminds 3rd edition. Once you load it up, I believe you have to download the rule book. Oh, did you get the starter edition?
Yes.
Okay, so you're gonna want the regular version.
Okay.
Yeah, because the starter edition is for the ones that come for free with Hero Lab. But the regular version just works in a demonstration mode.
Okay. I misunderstood. So let me uninstall that.
Mm-hmm. And also, I know I said that the setting was somewhat bleak, but there are still nice parts in the world. Like, nothing is all trash.
Yeah, right, there are nice places and nice people, but, you know, there's also corporations that rule stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I guess looking a bit more like Batman Beyond than like Shadowrun.
Yeah. Like, you will have locations that look like this, but
good old Shinra.
But there will also be places that look like this.
Also, good old Shinra. Someone put Bespin on that mountain.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Cloud City. I don't know why I said Bespin.
Bespin's the planet.
Yes.
Actually, it's a gas giant. I'm such a nerd. Well, just before we started this, I was watching Actually, so.
Actually. All right, so I believe if you guys have no further questions, that is it.
All right.
Cool.
Oh,
okay.
Just before we get going, the next time we start, I'm just going to need the second character sheet for the golem dude so I can just actually get it going.
Sure.
Good idea.
Cool.